I'm always a little bit nervous about time, so I tend to kind of rush. So I'll just going to probably rush through this a little bit. So I did not prepare any type of presentation, which I'll cover in a minute. Why not? I'll tell you a little bit. I was thinking. I wrote down some notes. I took marketing in graduate school. It was who, what, when, where, how, right? So I'll talk a little bit about who, mostly who, right, and what, not where and how. But so I'm Jay Bloom. As you know, I live in northern New Jersey. I've been here for many years. I grew up in a place called Brooklyn, New York. If you can't hear it from my voice, Pam lives there. We do need to connect. I went to Brooklyn College undergraduate, and at the time, computer science was rocket hot. So I didn't want to be a doctor, and I didn't want to be an accountant, and I didn't want to be a lawyer. So I went into computer science. I worked for that for a bunch of years, and in the meantime, I did get an MBA at a place called NYU downtown, Stern School, and did that. And I started off my career working in technology, working for CBS, the broadcast company. I worked in the records division for a couple of years. Then I worked at a friend of mine who had left there, went over to a company called J. Walter Thompson advertising firm. So I went over to there for advertising. And then I got my MBA, and I said, finance, technology, I really want to be in a financial company. So I ended up working at a Citibank for a bunch of years in their private bank, and had a great career. I loved it. I left there actually to go to work for a small private bank called Bessemer Trust, which is a very hoity-toity type place. Great place to be a client. Really sucked being an employee. My old boss called me back. I went back to Citigroup, worked for them for a bunch of years, got downsized in 2007, before 2008, did some consulting for a while, ended up working for Bank of America, also private banking, technology, leading groups, doing all kinds of different stuff. Got downsized again because now this is about 7 years ago. By now I'm a little bit older, and if you're not a superstar in the big bank, you have a big X on your back, and they're gonna push you out. So that's what happened. I did some consulting for a while, had a great time, but realized I needed to do something else. So I ended up looking around, and I found this thing called Supporting Strategies, for a business. It's a franchise, and that's what I've been doing for about 5 years and change. 5 years and a couple of months. So that's my story. That's a little bit about who I am. I don't have any great pictures. I really, Kelly, that was a great presentation. I feel so inept. First of all, your personality is amazing. So it's like, I should be first, and you should go, you should be the main attraction. But I'm married, have 3 kids. They're all married. I have about 9 grandchildren. They all are the cutest kids ever. Not always the most best behaved, but they are. They're great. So that is that. So what do I do? What's my company, Supporting Strategies? What we do is we help business owners deal with their financial record keeping, bottom line. People who are struggling to find resources to do it, people who have all kinds of different scenarios, but we help them save their time so that they can go out, better manage their money, better manage their business, have more time, depending on what the industry is. Could mean they free up their time so that they can make more money on their own. So, like for instance, I have a couple of law firms, and instead of the stupid guy who can charge $500 to $700 an hour sitting there and doing his books, he pays me to do it. Do you have to be a genius to figure that out? I can't figure that out myself. But so we have those clients. We have those clients who I'm just on an engagement. They have something, they've grown a lot, and they've been working. The person they had working there has outgrown the position. She just can't keep up. So they brought us in, to help them understand their books. But basically what we do is we are a remote accounting department, virtual, remote. We do everything remotely. The people that work for me are accountants. They're the same people that CPA firms would hire. We used to call them the MBA moms. I'm not sure that's politically correct, but the people who want to work from home, they want to work part-time, but they still want to work. And so, we've been doing this before COVID. This is not, something new. I think the company is around 12 years or so. And, we know how to do everything, remotely. So what are my qualifications for doing this job? When you hire us, you get me and you get my team. I'll tell you a little bit about me and what I bring to the table. I'm not an accountant, so hey, what do I do? So I'm just going to give you like kind of 2 or 3 little examples. When I was at Citigroup, one morning I walked in and everything's going nicely. La-di-da, whatever. I was in charge of a system that basically did all the back office processing for the securities processing. Randy knows what I'm talking about. And for private banks. So these people are moving money every day, millions of dollars. They're buying securities, they're settling securities. I'm going out and buying, they don't go out and buy 100 or 200 or 300 shares. They go out and buy 5, 6, 7, $8 million in a security or in a fund, or they're doing this or that. A lot of, and they had a bunch of clients, like 25,000 clients or so, if I think that's right. And, they were active every single day, portfolio managers managing money, all kinds of securities happening. Anyway, one day I get a phone call. It's about 11:15 in the morning from my operations partner. And he's describing the scenario that just didn't make any sense. Anyway, to make a long story short, one of my people had gone into the system. This is in the days when you still could do that. And they went, they touched something by mistake. And that threw everything off. Everything was off. So what that meant was all this work that had been done from 8 o'clock until about 11:30 was screwed up. And how do you recover that? And it was major. I mean, we're talking about transactions of hundreds of millions of dollars. And if we don't complete it accurately by, I think the ACH cutoff was like 4 o'clock or 4:30 at the time, or 5 o'clock, we're going to miss a window and there's going to be interest penalties and all this other stuff. It was intense. But what I did was I was pretty calm, sat down and got my team together, met with the operations people, and we collaborated and figured out what had to get done, what to do. And thank God we were able to restore everything, bring it back up to date, and get everyone working. And I was very proud of that day. I'm still really not sure. We averted a huge disaster, but just because the way we approached it as a team, without blame, without condemnation, we just went ahead, got it done, and moved on. So, I think I bring that to every scenario. I'm calm. My wife hates me for being calm, even when she's yelling and screaming at me. I'm like, I'm not going to argue with you. I'm just not going to go there, So I'm very proud of my demeanor, actually. Sometimes this works against me because people think I'm not engaged enough, but okay. So that's one story. So that's what I bring to the table. One of the things that I've done since I'm doing this, we signed a client that had 3 product lines. And they came to me and they said, I need you to run my books for me. We don't know what we're doing. The person who's doing it, has outgrown it. We need more. So, and actually their coach brought me in. And what was interesting was what we decided, I said, well, what is it that you don't get from your, from the information from your books? And like, we don't really know where we're making money. So to summarize the story, they had 3 product lines. And basically what I did for them was we put into their books 3 product lines, and we started tracking the information. And now they're able to say, wow, from product line A, I'm not making any money. I thought I was making money on that. And my profits are really coming from B. They were not aware of that beforehand. So, they shifted, they pivoted, they started putting more effort into B than into A, and also C. And, therefore now they are a more profitable company. In fact, they sold themselves to a much bigger entity. So, I like to pat myself on the back, because without us, they wouldn't have done that. And the flip side of that is that I did have an engagement where we went into a company and they were so screwed up, they didn't realize how much money they were losing, and they were not for profit, and they got shut down. But what we try to do is really give our clients better information so they can better manage their business. I mean, that's the bottom line. That's what we really like to do for our clients. We help them get organized. We help them have better information. But really, at the end of the day, is what we'd really like to do is get them in a position where they can better manage their company. Can I go out and buy another truck? Can I go out and hire another employee? That's what we do. We spoke about that. Yeah. And just basically, how do we do it? So going back to who I am, what we do, I'd say who, what, and how do we do it? Basically, it's very simple. I could talk about all the technology we use, and I had a nice PowerPoint. And like, nah, no one's really interested in that. Well, what we really do is we go in, look at clients' processes, right? With improving processes, with using the talented people that I have, right? We're able, and the technology, we're able really to get done what they need to get done as far as accounting for their business, right? More efficiently than they can by themselves or by hiring someone just off the street, right? And the results kind of speak for themselves, because we can, we have a team, and we manage, everything, all the deliverables, so that the business owners know where they stand. And let me just see if I left anything else out. Yeah, and so that's what we do. I do want to give one more example of what we've done for our clients. So I do have a client that came to us. He's a law firm, and it's three partners. The oldest partner senior partner was retiring, was leaving. It turns out his wife was the office manager and the bookkeeper for the firm for like 20 years, which is great. She actually was very knowledgeable, whatever. The problem was, it was actually 30 years. The problem was she was running the office in 2021 or 2020, the same way she was in 1987 when she started. So every Friday, she'd walk into the senior partner, with a bunch of checks and a bunch of invoices, and say, okay, here, to the senior partner, not her husband, the other senior one, and say, okay, here, let's review them. You can sign them, and then I'll put a stamp on them. And it was taking like 2.5, 3 hours to go through it, because she wanted to talk about each one. I modernized the whole process. Everything's online. They go on, they take their phone, they go, approved, by, finished. This now frees this guy up to bring in $500, $600, $700, $800 an hour. So it's just mind-boggling to me. It's something that's a big accomplishment, what we can do. I just want to close with, how do I get business? We spoke about marketing before. I don't do a lot of marketing. I do post a little bit on LinkedIn. I get all of my business from referral. 95% of my business from referrals. And that's why I'm in V5O. I want to expand my networking group. I want people to know who I am. And then when the time comes, when they hear of something, they'll refer people they know, or they refer to me the people who are, what do we call them? People who get, who are business consultants, business advisors to their businesses. And so those are the folks that know, the CPAs, the lawyers, the consultants, right? The coaches. They're the ones who knows what's going on, and they know what their clients need, their people that they need. So, that's how you guys can help me. Introductions are always welcome. And, if you hear of anyone who's struggling to keep their books or find the right people, have them reach out. We'll see if we're a good fit.